When most people think about eating after the age of 60, they imagine they can continue enjoying the same foods.
But as a brain doctor, I must warn you that some everyday foods are not simply unhealthy, they are dangerous. These foods may taste familiar, but for seniors, they can quietly destroy blood vessels. The shocking truth is that what you put on your plate every day has a greater impact.
They don't know. The food you eat after 60 can either protect your independence or take it away. I have seen countless patients who believed they were eating normally, only to collapse.
When we looked closely, the link was clear. Their diets were filled with hidden toxins.
Let me give you an example. An older patient of mine ate bacon every morning.
He told me he thought he was living well because he never smoked and still exercised.
But at age 68, he suffered a massive stroke. His arteries were stiff, inflamed, and blocked from decades of harmful foods.
After the age of 60, your body no longer processes food the way it once did.
Blood vessels lose flexibility, kidneys struggle, and insulin resistance grows stronger. That means foods that may not have harmed you can become toxic in your 60s. In this video, I am going to reveal 5 specific foods. Before we dive in, if you have not subscribed yet, hit that button.
Part 1. Processed meats, the silent artery killers.
Processed meats, such as bacon, sausages, ham, hot dogs, and deli slices often top the list.
They may be convenient, but for that's a mart. But for those above 60, they are silent artery killers.
These meats are preserved with high amounts of sodium, nitrates, and other chemical additives. The same chemicals can harden arteries, trigger inflammation, and set the stage for strokes.
The problem starts with sodium. As you age, your blood vessels naturally lose some elasticity. When you add the excess salt, blood pressure spikes more easily and stays elevated longer.
High blood pressure is the single biggest risk factor for stroke.
Every slice adds to the load, forcing your arteries and heart to work harder. Inside your body, the vessel walls are thickening, narrowing, and becoming more fragile.
Nitrates and nitrites break down into compounds that directly damage the lining of your blood vessels.
That point to the body's ability to produce nitric oxide that keeps vessels relaxed.
Without this protective mechanism, blood becomes sluggish. Clots form more easily.
Imagine this scenario. A man in his 70s enjoys bacon and sausage almost every day.
Yet one morning, he wakes up dizzy, cannot speak clearly.
At the hospital, doctors find a clot. His stroke was not random.
It was built over years of silent vascular damage, fueled in part by the meats he ate daily.
Scientific studies, published in Circulation, found that people who consumed high amounts and
even small servings eaten regularly over years can increase the chance of vascular events. What can you do instead? Replace processed meats with healthier protein options.
Choose fresh chicken, turkey, or fish that can be cooked without additives.
Beans, lentils, and tofu are also excellent choices.
If you still crave flavor, use herbs and spices instead of salt.
The difference may seem small, but each meal helps reduce blood pressure.
If this surprised you, wait until you hear about the next food on the list.
Part 2. Refined sugar and tram keep the sweet poison for the brain.
Many people still believe sugar is just an innocent indulgence. The truth is that refined sugar is one of the most damaging substances.
Refined sugar floods your bloodstream quickly, spiking glucose and insulin levels.
This sweet poison can accelerate the decline of both heart and brain health.
When you eat foods high in refined sugar, your body experiences a sudden surge in blood sugar.
This spike forces the pancreas to release insulin in large amounts.
Over time, lead to insulin resistance, a condition where your body no longer uses insulin effectively. Insulin resistance makes blood more likely to clot. Clots are the direct trigger for ischemic strokes.
If this surprised you, wait until you hear about the next food on the list.
Part 2. Refined sugar is the sweet poison for the brain.
Many people still believe sugar is just an innocent indulgence.
The truth is that refined sugar is one of the most damaging substances.
Refined sugar floods your bloodstream quickly, spiking glucose and insulin levels.
This sweet poison can accelerate the decline of both heart and brain health.
When you eat foods high in refined sugar, your body experiences a sudden surge in blood sugar.
This spike forces the pancreas to release insulin in large amounts. Over time, lead to insulin resistance, a condition where your body no longer uses insulin effectively.
Insulin resistance, medicaments makes blood more likely to clot. Clots are the direct trigger for ischemic strokes.
Beyond clotting, sugar also affects brain function directly, linked to reduced memory.
A study showed that even people without diabetes had a greater risk of developing cognitive decline.
Let me share a case. A woman loved sweet tea and pastries. She said they gave her comfort.
Over the years, I'm Shitzer IV Moorman. She developed type 2 diabetes.
One evening, she suddenly felt numbness. Doctors conferred she had suffered a mild stroke.
There is also the hidden sugar problem. Flavored yogurts, breakfast bars, and even some juices.
The World Health Organization recommends limiting free sugars to less than 10%.
So what is the solution? Choose natural sweetness. Replace refined sugar with fresh fruits.
Use cinnamon or vanilla to flavor drinks instead of spoonfuls of sugar.
For those who enjoy dessert, consider healthier recipes using oats, nuts, and natural sweeteners.
Each step away from refined sugar gives your brain and arteries a chance to heal.
If this shocked you, wait until you hear about the next food.
Part 3. Trans fats. Eat the hidden cholesterol bombs.
If refined sugar is the sweet poison, trans fats are the hidden cholesterol bombs.
Found in fried foods, packaged snacks,
margarine, and many baked goods.
They drastically raise bad cholesterol head, lower good cholesterol head.
What makes trans fats especially dangerous is their sneaky presence. Each bite delivers artificial fats that remain in the bloodstream longer. Over time, trans fats stiffen blood vessels, increase inflammation.
A report concluded that trans fat consumption is directly associated with a significantly higher risk. Even small amounts, just 2% of daily calories, can increase stroke risk by more than 20%.
For seniors, whose arteries may already be narrowed, the impact is far greater.
Consider the story of an elderly man who loved fried chicken. He insisted his diet would not hurt him.
But after years, his arteries hardened, and one evening he collapsed from a severe stroke.
Beyond arteries, trans fats also harm brain health. They interfere with the two omega-3 fatty acids,
powerful contoursory, linked with a higher risk of dementia and stroke.
So how do you avoid them? Read labels carefully. If you see partially hydrogenated oils,
even when labels claim zero trans fats, small amounts may still be present. The safest choice is to cut out fried fast foods, packaged baked goods, and margarine.
Instead, cook with olive oil or avocado oil, and choose nuts or seeds.
These healthier fats protect arteries, support brain function.
If this surprised you, wait until you hear about the next threat. Excess salt.
Part 4. Excess salt Hanley, the invisible pressure cooker.
Salt is one of the most common seasonings in every kitchen.
But for seniors above 60, it is a silent killer.
Too much salt turns the circulatory system into a pressure cooker.
the hidden danger lies in processed foods, canned soups, frozen meals.
Seniors may unknowingly consume 2 or 3 times the recommended daily intake.
The World Health Organization advises less than 5 grams per day.
When you eat salty foods, the body responds by holding on to more water, pushing against vessel walls with more force. Over time, the constant pressure damages the inner lining, making them stiff and brittle.
Small cracks form, where fatty deposits collect, creating dangerous blockages.
Eventually cut off blood flow to the brain, resulting in an ischemic stroke.
In other cases, a weakened vessel may burst, causing a hemorrhagic stroke.
I once treated a woman who had lived on canned soups and salted crackers.
She told me she loved the taste and believed soup was healthy.
But her blood pressure ratings were consistently above normal, left her unable to walk. Scientific studies showed that reducing salt intake significantly lowers the risk.
Lowering daily sodium intake by just 1 gram can cut stroke risk by nearly 10%.
The solution is not to eliminate salt completely. Instead, focus on balance.
Use herbs, lemon, garlic, or spices to add flavor instead of relying on salt.
When shopping, check labels careful and choose products labeled low sodium.
At home, put the salt shaker away from the table.
If this surprised you, wait until you hear about the next item.
Part 5. Sugary drinks and sodas. And Hank, the liquid stroke triggers.
For many seniors, starting the day with a glass of juice or reaching for a soda feels harmless.
But as a brain doctor, sugary drinks and sodas are liquid stroke triggers.
They flood your body with sugar that destabilize blood pressure.
A single can of soda can contain up to 10 teaspoons of sugar. The pancreas scrambles to release large amounts of insulin.
Repeated sugar surges create insulin resistance, which damages blood vessel linings.
This process makes arteries stiff and narrow.
Many sodas contain caffeine, which stimulates the nervous system, causes blood pressure spikes.
For seniors with fragile blood vessels, these rapid swings can be devastating.
High blood sugar combined with sudden blood pressure elevation multiplies stroke risk.
There is also the issue of dehydration. Sugary sodas act as diuretics, pulling water out of cells and thickening the blood.
Seniors. Dehydration adds another dangerous layer that makes stroke more likely.
I recall an older gentleman who loved to drink sweetened iced tea.
At 70, he suffered a sudden stroke that left him unable to speak clearly.
A study found that people who consumed at least one sugary drink per day had a significantly higher risk.
Another large-scale study linked diet sodas with increased risk of dementia and stroke,
likely due to artificial sweeteners and their effect on blood vessel function.
The good news is that cutting out sugary drinks has immediate benefits.
Within weeks, blood pressure begins to stabilize, and the brain receives steadier blood flow.
Replace sodas with water, herbal teas, or sparkling water with a slice of lemon.
These options hydrate the body, support circulation, and protect your brain.
If all of these foods and drinks shocked you, do not worry.
Conclusion: protecting your brain and heart after 60.
We have walked through 5 dangerous foods: processed meats, refined sugar, trans fats, excess salt, and sugary sodas.
They are silent killers.
Every slice, every sweet pastry adds up, quietly increasing your risk.
But here is the message of hope. Your body still remembers how to heal.
Positive changes today can repair damage, improve circulation, and protect your brain.
Studies show that within weeks, blood pressure begins to drop.
Seniors who shift to a diet often see more energy, better sleep, and sharper memory.
I want you to remember this. After 60, every bite matters more.
Your vessels are more fragile. Your brain more sensitive.
That is why the advice of a doctor who lived to 102 is so powerful.
He wanted them to enjoy many more years of independence, laughter, and clarity.
The lesson is clear. Protecting your health is not about sacrifice. It is about choosing life.
Imagine your future. Do you want to spend your later years dependent on others?
Or do you want to stay strong, enjoy your family, and keep your freedom?
The choice begins with your plate. Each meal is either feeding disease or fighting it.
By removing processed meats, sugar, trans fats, salt, and sodas,
and replacing them with safer alternatives, you are giving your body the tools it needs to thrive.
Now I would love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing.
Will you cut back on sugar? Will you swap sodas for water? Or throw out processed meats?
Let us support each other on this journey toward better health.
If you enjoyed this video, type 1. If not, type 0.
Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss another health tip.
And most importantly, share this video with someone you love.
because one small change in diet could save their brain, their heart, or even their life.